Oh, hey, handsome. Look at you. Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
2 weeks, and we're back sitting down. Glad to hear, man. I mean, your back must be miraculously feeling better.
I got to be honest, bro. I'm really drugged up right now, so it feels great. I honestly don't feel anything. It feels spectacular.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness. I was not expecting that response, man. So, I mean, I was going to ask you how you are, but I guess that kind of hits the nail on the head, eh?
yeah, busy man. Um, you know. What's up with you, man?
Oh, and I'm sure everybody would agree with this. Are you guys having the temperature change over there? Are you doing like the season change over there right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's fucking with me, man. Sorry, I know our guests this evening have little ones that may end up watching this with them later, so I'm gonna try and watch all that stuff tonight. But the season change is really messing with me, dude. It gets so dark so early right now. It's really already sneaking in and kind of hitting me.
Yeah, we haven't really hit that point yet where you're noticing a difference like that. But weather-wise, dude, I mean, it was like, um, God, like 98 here yesterday, which is pretty hot. Uh,
Yes.
and then as I'm walking out here, dude, I heard some raindrops on my skylight. So I don't know. But it's still like, I don't know, 80 degrees outside. It's kind of funky right now, man. I think it's definitely changing
Okay.
over into fall, which you know, it's a fun time of year.
What's on your shirt?
The one, the only, Waylon Jennings, my friend.
I like how you said that as if I should know anything about that.
Oh, you should. Just just because you should. Great music. My dad's favorite. I remember this music. You know when you like try to remember music that you heard with your parents when you were a kid? When I was with my dad, it was always Waylon Jennings. When I was with my mom, it was like Lionel Richie or Billy Ocean or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. I don't. I'll be honest. I,
Oh, well, those are all great artists. My son got me this shirt a little while ago, and it's dope. I love it. Waylon, just man.
I'm sorry. I'm giving you nothing this evening. My apologies, my friend.
It's okay. I know where you
Just
live. It's
no.
fine.
Oh, jeez. Hey, I'm gonna say hi to the homies in the chat real quick before we get ahead of ourselves. 8-bit Mike, what's going on? Yo, I don't know if you saw it, but 8-bit Mike actually ended up putting one of my little army men in a big giant block of resin, so that's pretty fucking dope.
Oh, was that yours?
So some of us make the thing is that somebody needs to just cast. I'm just being a fucking dick. I'm not actually that fucking egotistical, but it is cool, man. It's nice to see that kind of shit. That felt obviously nice, dude. Fucking gorgeous of them. And the fucking color matching on the green and purple sparkles they ended up putting in there looked like it was like spot on. It was fucking cool, dude. Pikmin vinyls, what is going on? We've got a show of yours that we're gonna talk about a little bit later on. That's coming up. Fucked Toys, what up? Eric Folkert Pedals, how you doing? Grayskull Toys, what is up, my dude? Hobo Toys, if anybody hasn't noticed, go over to their page. They've actually got a new issue that they're kind of teasing coming up soon. What else we got going on here? Toys and Tits. I wish that's what we had going on, but we just have the homie named Toys and Tits. B, dude, your face right now is beautiful. Jazz Wizard, what is going on? How are you, my friend? Zimitco, what up? Abaddon 40, what is up? Bootleg Toy Co, what is going down? We've got a sick fucking post later. We're going to show Bootleg Toy Co's as well because we shared part of it last week, but I didn't realize they're part of one of the collaborating artists on there. So we're going to do a little backtrack on there. Brilliant Demon, what is going on? If anybody hasn't gone over to their page, they've been showing all of their process shots for their brilliant piece that they did for the oh my goodness, man, Silent but Deadly show that was on last Thursday.
Yeah.
Lightly Adrift, what up? Recycle Galaxy, what up? My goodness, there's too many of you this evening. You're all here to see friggin' the beautiful Plastic Vomit Customs, and I'm not used to having to say hello to so many people. Plus, B always does this part. Folklorian, what up?
Suki
What?
Southern song. Yeah, correct. Suki. Ordinary, what's up, dude? Ordinary had a birthday last week. Happy birthday, dude. I hope somebody delivered you mail directly to your house on your birthday. Um, Yeah, PVC tonight, dude. God, we were just chatting with them a little bit before we came on. Dude, the machine, right? Like we always talk about people that are just nonstop, man, and that's another one for sure. Some of those stained glass figures, dude. We'll definitely talk about those, dude. I saw that Gamorrean guard stained glass the other day. It just fell over in my chair, dude. That thing is so super nice.
Right across the board, dude. Honestly, some of their kit bashes they've done are absolutely fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. The prints they end up doing are gorgeous. The paint apps they apply are gorgeous. Absolutely stupid, man. Absolutely stupid. I've got a couple pieces here. I know you have a couple pieces there. They've been generous. They've actually ended up tossing a couple. They did those fantastically beautiful figures of you and I, which insane.
Those are great, dude. That's one of my most treasured pieces. It's I like the post that you did, and I'm going to do something similar at some point. But you did a post at one time where you had taken that one out your figure out of the package and then put it as if you were talking to other figures, dude. I thought that was super super cool,
Well,
man.
because they made tiny little swamp things for the dude to hold. So how do you not show your swamp
Mm.
things a fucking swamp thing? Yeah, like,
I must have missed that part, dude. I must have missed that part, but that figures swampy for you, right? Figures.
and that's just it, the detail. And actually, homies, part of what we ended up bringing these individuals on this evening was B and I were actually chatting. We're like, we kind of want to talk about like the vintage figures, bootleg figures, and I'm sure anybody here has seen. That's probably like I feel like that's almost the safest when you first get into the indie resin toys, right? You see something familiar yet different, and you're looking at it kind of being like, I should know that. Sometimes it's to fill in a gap in your collection. I know personally, and probably at the beginning of COVID, for a lot of us, it was like, wait a minute, I can get a rocket firing Boba Fett that is in multicolors. That's pretty darn cool. And yet, if there's anybody who has tackled it, it's them, man. Like, not just the pieces that you might be missing, but then insane variants of them. And then pieces like their Captain EOS figure that they've done for the giveaway that, like, they just don't exist otherwise.
Yeah. Uh, you know, what's crazy, dude, is that we always, I mean, I don't want to say we always, but I think we do talk about in some points where, where when it really hits, right, is when you have a character that you can make in pretty much any different makeup. And it's dope. You want it, you know what I mean? Because it's because it's that good. And I'm looking at the PVC stuff in
I
my
was
house,
gonna say,
and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of the same figure, but different.
well,
Uh,
how many of these freaking dudes do you have? You must have like every colorway.
19. But that's a dope. I mean, That's a dope figure, man. That's a dope figure, dude. And it's clean as shit. And some of the color mashups that I have, dude, it's like, I mean, it's whatever, dude. There's a prototype one over there. There's solid one. The weapon's dope. The cape is dope. Um,
I knew it was going to be a lot. I didn't expect 19, man. That really cracked me up, homie. That's friggin' beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew because even the way you were looking over there, and you're like, you can do figures in different ways. I'm like, you're looking at their case. Like I knew you were looking at a case of their work,
yeah.
but fucking 19, you're hilarious, dude.
Um, God, somebody, dude, what about the God? We should probably just talk to him about this, but we'll talk first. The Motu um, Star Wars mashups. How about those, dude? God, those are good. Anyways, we'll talk about that for sure.
Well, and and again, when we bring them on, we'll talk about it. But even when you mentioned that Gamorrean stained glass one, I keep on looking at it, being like, how was that printed? Are the legs separate? Do you print the legs separate? Because because if it's painted, I don't know how you maintain that translucency. So,
Yeah, all of that.
but not that I know anything.
Yeah, no, all of that. The Gamorrean Guard's a tough one too, man. I mean, depending on how you do it, I know when Hurt was doing that, it's got that kind of like lower half kind of overlay and that real big undercut, and and that's hard to get the legs in there. and make sure everything is smooth, you know. But it is, and it is always. What about last week, dude? How'd the ninja show go? Did it looked like there was some good stuff going on there, eh?
Okay, did you end up watching it?
I watched about the first 10 minutes and got sidetracked and haven't gone back. So
I'm gonna ruin it for anybody who ended up missing it, because like it was probably the surprise of a century. So screw you guys. If you haven't seen it by this point, then you lose. Pikmin ripped off a fake mustache at the end. That's how we wrapped it up. It is somehow Pikmin fooled us all this entire time, even though they actually did have a real mustache. But they were wearing a false mustache, and through the entire show, somehow we did not pick up that they were wearing a false mustache, and then they ripped that off at the end. So that was probably like the coolest mask we've had in a very long time, so to speak.
Yeah, the mustache reveal. I saw somebody mention that
Yeah.
earlier, dude. I definitely missed that. Dang it. So yeah, I'll definitely have to go back and check that out. What about well, we'll talk probably in the second half of the show about pieces and whatnot, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't want to be making. Let's be real. You know, the 10-minute mark, sure. I don't know. But I feel like the moment we start creeping into like 15, 20, like we might as well have told our guests to come in at half past, because like we're just being douches at that point. You know what I mean? They're sitting there trying to like get on with their lives, and they're just listening to us babble about nonsense. You're on drugs, apparently.
Well, it's yeah, that's about time. That's about a good time, I think. But hey, we got an intro. We got a show to introduce, right? I think when you're like one-on-one, I think the preferred would be to get in right away, and just kind of and just, you know.
Do you have a cold or something?
I don't have a cold that I'm aware of. No, I'm a little tired today. That's it.
Check that banner action.
I see that. Very nice, dude. It caught my attention. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. We're all just sitting here eating our fig Newtons. Jimmy, I love you.
Oh my goodness.
Jimmy's the best. Yeah, dude, let's bring PVC in. Let's chop it up.
You guys are good to come on in.
Look at Jason getting ready, like, all right, I'm ready.
That's just it. They know the drill. They're like, well, I'm not gonna freaking sit here and break my back if they're gonna talk nonsense.
Chill, dude. They're so chill. What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
Good.
For those at home, why don't you just do a quick little introduction, let them know who you guys are and what you do in the scene here tonight for us.
I'm Jason.
I'm Nicole.
And we're Plastic Vomit Customs. Mostly we do resin 3D printed figures, but we also do some kit bash figures as well. Started out doing just kit bash, and then bought a 3D printer and started kind of dabbling with that. And now we've got multiple 3D printers and do mostly 3D print figures.
God, what episode were you guys on? Thank you for that intro, by the way. Do you remember what episode you were on originally? It was a long time.
I think it was back in 2003, or not 2023.
2023. Yeah, that sounds about right. God, so you guys are you're pumping out the figure. How many machines are you working off of now?
Well, we have 5 printers, but usually there's at least 1 or 2 that's not working at some point. So we're constantly Nicole actually does that, but she's constantly fixing printers. So we usually have at least 3 running at all times, and then 1 or 2 that's having issues, but we've got 5 total.
5 total. That's a lot of figures coming out of there, man. Let's talk about this new one that you guys got, dude. Captain EO is one of those ones where, man, I'd say at my age, our age, it's kind of hit or miss, right? When you come across it, you say Captain EO, and some people are like,
a lot of people didn't even know who it was or what it was.
Right.
It was actually George Lucas and who else was it? I can't remember, but George Lucas and somebody else that's a famous producer actually made it. So it's like kind of Star Wars adjacent, and you can tell by like the characters and stuff. And I always thought it was a really cool figure. But Funky McClunky actually did the print files for those, and kind of how things got started. Like we basically have like a partnership with Funky McClunky and Vivid Motion Customs now, where
okay,
like it started out with Vivid Motion Customs back in probably like 2023. I had asked him about making a sleeve stack file for me, and he said that he would put it on his list and possibly be able to do it sometime. Well, it was probably sometime in 2024, later 2024. Like I completely forgot about it by the time he got back to me, and he's like, "Hey, I got this sleeve stack file for you," and he basically just wanted to give it to me to sell. Like he didn't. I kept on trying to offer him money for making it, and he wouldn't take any money for making this file. And we started making them and selling them, and they were like gangbusters. Like it was probably one of the best like selling figures we ever did that sold that much quickly. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of figures that have sold a lot over the years, but those like nobody had ever made a sleeve stack figure before. So anybody who ever wanted one, like this was their chance to get it. So once they started kind of going crazy, I contacted Mike at Vivid Motions. I'm like, listen, I was like, I'm going to give you some money for this because I feel bad that we're selling all these and you're not getting compensated for it, basically. So, but at the same time, he had all these other original sculpt print files, like a whole catalog full of awesome other print files. And I was like, why don't we make an arrangement and I'll start making your figures and I'll give you like a flat rate fee for every one we sell. That way he's making money off of it. We've got this huge new catalog of figures we can make, because before, like the way that he made his money is he just made the print files and then would sell the print files to people. And they had to have like a 3D printer and all the equipment that comes with 3D printing, and then know how to prep the figures and paint them, you know what I mean, in order to get one of those figures. Or he sold the blank figures as well, but then they still had to be able to like paint them and make them look good. So it really cut back on the kind of people, the amount of people who could actually make those, you know what I mean? Like not everybody has the time to do that or the skills to do it.
Well, so, you're canceling out the collector at that point, right? You're now it's an artist thing where you have to finish it off, and as a collector,
exactly,
a rough, gray blank, probably not. Exactly. What am I going to do with that?
Yeah, that was another thing. I'll kind of get into that here in a minute, but like, I was like, well, we can do all that stuff, so we can fill that gap in between him and the person who wants it, that doesn't have the time to do that or doesn't have a 3D printer or can't paint the stuff. Because even like, I know that he would sell the blanks to people, and then the people that couldn't paint them, they'd have to ship them off to other people to get painted. So there's guys that will just paint figures that like, that's what they do. So it's like, there's a big like process in between him and the customer actually getting the final product. And I was like, well, I basically kind of figured up like a flat rate of what he would basically make anyways if somebody was going to buy the file from him, like basically an average amount. And that's just, I just give him that fee for every figure that we sell. We basically just came up with a flat rate, so it wasn't like a bunch of different numbers, but I just keep track of like what sells, and then at the end of every month, I pay him out for that many figures. So he really doesn't even have to do anything for it. I mean, not that he doesn't do it. He made the files, but you know what I mean? Like, he sent me all of his files for free, so I just have like every one of them to print from, and I keep track of all the figures that we make from his files, and then I just send him basically a paycheck at the end of every month through PayPal. But so it really, like I said, it really opened it up to where a lot more people could get those figures that didn't have access to all that other stuff. and it opened up where we could make a ton more figures. And because like Vivid Motions and Funky McClunky, they don't want people taking their files and reselling the stuff because they make their money from selling the files. So if I'm paying them for the files per figure, they're still getting paid per figure, basically, like they would if somebody was just going to buy the file and do all the other legwork.
Right.
So we've kind of been doing that with Vivid Motions for a while. And then I was like, well, we've been buying like the Star Wars files from Funky McClunky for a long time. I was like, I might as well see if he wants to do basically the same thing where he has all these figures and he like sells occasionally some stuff. I'm sure you guys like follow him, and occasionally he'll sell some stuff, but he doesn't really sell a lot of his stuff compared to what he has. He has hundreds of figures, like files, you know what I mean? And so basically I got a hold of him about the same thing because that way he'd be making the money from us giving him per figure for everyone that prints. And we'd have like a whole nother catalog of figures we could make. But like you were saying, where even if somebody buys like the gray blank print, I mean, I'm not like trying to bash on that or anything, but when we make figures, like, let me grab one here, trying to give you an idea. Like
it's above and beyond.
Like this figure right here,
Oof.
That's printed with red resin for the red. So like if the figure is mostly red, we'll print this figure in red resin. That way there's no paint rub on the arms or the leg joints. Because if you have a gray figure, you have to paint all that figure. And then it's got paint rub where the joints are at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just where it's like the friction eventually starts causing paint rub in those joints. So we basically print them in the color that it's going to be, basically. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that a gray figure that's painted is like bad quality or anything. There's a lot of people that make awesome figures from that stuff. But if I was a buyer, I would prefer to have the figure to be like the main color be the resin that color so it doesn't get that rub. And plus, when you do this, there's a lot less paint where the detail shows up a lot more. Because when you paint a figure, it slightly takes away from the detail because the paint kind of covers up the detail. So if you don't have to paint it, then a lot more of the detail is like able to be shown.
Go ahead, Crumbs. You were going to say something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got marveled away by all of it there. But are you guys? Is it like a T-peg articulation in the prints? Because that was such a tight joint.
It's basically, it's almost like a Glios peg, but it's just resin. I mean, it's just like, it's like kind of like a mushroom head post. Oh, I think it's see it here. It's kind of hard to see there, but it's like there's a wider tip right around, and then there's a place inside that it kind of like a ring, like a rounded out ring inside where it kind of like pops into place so that it's like actually pops in there and holds in place.
Yeah, that's tight, man.
So you're painting on, so that whole figure's red. So you're painting on top, you're painting details in after that?
So basically the only thing that we're having to paint is like the boots and the gloves and the vest, and the head is printed in like a skin tone. So we basically just have to paint on the eyes and the hair. So it kind of cuts back on a lot of the painting too, because the paint process is what takes the most time. You know what I mean? And like the value in what we charge for is the amount of time it takes to make these, because the cost isn't really that much to make one of these figures. I mean, once you buy like all the equipment, the actual material cost isn't that high, but it's the time involved in actually painting the figure. And like we try to make it where you can't see any brush strokes. We do like multiple thin coats of paint. So it's not like we're just slopping on one coat of paint and covering up. Like we're doing multiple thin coats of paint so that there's virtually no brush strokes visible once it's done.
Well, and that's the thing, man. That's kind of what I was getting at by asking that, is the time that's involved, dude. That is like, that's some clean ass work, dude. And it's small little detail work too. There you go.
We actually use cheap Walmart paint. acrylic paint from Walmart. It's like 99 cents a bottle.
No shit.
A lot of people use like expensive model paint, and it might be good. I've never even tried it before, but I've always just had like cheap Walmart paint laying around when I first started, and I just never changed from there because it's really accessible. There's like a bazillion different colors, and as long as you kind of like water it down a little bit, it goes on just as well as. Like I said, I've never used any expensive paint, so it might be like some miraculous thing that I should be doing, but
dude, it looks great. Like, I don't know, looking at the paint and the details on the paint, like small little fine details on that, like who the fuck is going to pick and choose over that? Like, what you guys have right there that's legit, dude. And if you're doing that with, cheap Walmart paints, fucking A, like maybe other people will start to try that. Pikmin agrees.
I think the key too, you nailed it before. You guys are doing thin layers, and I think a lot of people don't want to like actually
out the paint with water. Like we'll put like sometimes like a little bottle cap with some water in it, so we can dip our brush in it before we dip it in the paint, and it just kind of thins the paint out, so it's not like really thick lathering it on. It's more like almost just kind of moving the puddle around on the figure almost.
I
like that, dude. Holy cow.
Nicole, Jason was saying that you're fixing the machines, or when something comes up, you're fixing. Like I've seen 3D printers sit at people's houses for months and months and months because they're not fixed. You know what I mean? So what's that process like when someone breaks them? Is there a shop that you could bring it to, or is it just kind of like on your own? And that being said, if it is on your own, I mean, was it just kind of like trial by fire? Like, oh man, I guess I better try to fix this, and then you eventually get good at it?
I only had to fix two, really. Well, usually it's like a hole will develop in the bottom of the resin tank where the resin will start leaking out and ruin prints. And figuring that out's pretty easy, but I've actually had to fix two of the boards in two of the printers. And for that, I had to do it myself. I just Googled it, looked at tutorials on YouTube, ordered the parts from Amazon, and took care of it myself.
Nice. As far as figures go, I know the one Demigorgon that I have was from you. How do you guys select what figures to make? I mean, those catalogs that you were talking about are huge. The Funky McClunky one, I was going to mention his like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, like around the holidays. Those are freaking great. How do you guys select what to make?
Well, whenever I'm selecting from Vivid Motions or from Funky McClunky's stuff, that like one thing that I really take into consideration is the paint work that's going to be involved in painting the figure, because there's like just say Vivid Motions, for example. He's got a ton of awesome stuff, and I'm sure it's the same with Funky McClunky, but the paint work that would be involved in painting some of these figures would just take multiple hours on end, to where I can't justify what I could sell it for compared to the amount of time it would take to actually finish the figure. And like all their stuff is amazing, so it's like picking and choosing is easy because it's all awesome. But just whenever I'm like looking at it, I have to kind of like look at it and think ahead of like, if a figure has a lot of straps, like how like X-Wing pilots have straps all over them, those are some of the hardest things to paint, because it's like you have to do like a continuous brush stroke so that it's not choppy looking, and it always takes like multiple coats, and they're so thin, and just like, I don't know, anything with a bunch of straps I almost like steer clear of, because to make them look right, it just takes forever. It's like really slow, tedious work. They look awesome when they're done, but it's like almost not even worth making them because of the amount of time that goes into them. But that's really how I pick and choose. Like I obviously pick something I like, but I like all their stuff. But I kind of like disqualify stuff by if it's going to just be way too long to paint.
Yeah, like you're saying that, and I was scrolling through trying to find some of the homies. I'm like, you kind of nailed it, man. Looking at this set here, I wouldn't want to keep on doing that over and over again
Yeah,
either.
those ones I actually discontinued those. That was the last step that I made because like those heads right there, I was paying like $10 to $15 a piece just for the heads and the helmets. So that's already $10 to $15 out of the price of the figure. And then those figures take about 3 hours to paint each. And it's like, I mean, I get down to like 40, I'm charging $60 a piece for them. And I paid $15 for the heads. So I'm down to $45. And it takes 3 hours to paint them. It's not even really worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I love the figures and they look awesome. When you really break it down, it's not worth the time involved. And it's like,
not to mention the decals, the water decals on the helmets too.
Well, we don't do those. Like, those heads and helmets actually came from factory made figures that Hasbro made. I just chopped them off and put them on vintage X-Wing bodies. That's why I was paying $10 to $15 for the heads, because I was having to buy the figures on eBay to chop the heads off of them.
But even still, dude, to try and get the white lines showing up clearly on the orange, I'm sure that took quite a few layers.
Yeah. And just getting those lines to look smooth and like not choppy looking and wavy and everything else, it just takes forever. And that's why, like, I don't know. I still have people ask me to make them, and I just kind of refuse to do it anymore because it's just not worth the time involved into it.
Totally makes sense to me, man. Absolutely. And then really, like, D kind of nailed on the dot, because I was wondering that earlier too, like how you pick and choose. And then also, how do you guys kind of try and pick and choose when you're going to do something in the stained glass style that you're doing?
When I start to get to the end of, towards the finishing the last batch that I posted, I'll start working on the next figure, and I'll look through the vintage line and see what'll actually work well for the style, because I think there are some figures that I'm not going to be able to do in that style just because of how the colors are arranged. The Gamorrean Guard is actually kind of tricky because there's like the brown on the helmet behind his green face, and it kind of darkens his face up a little bit, like in some positions. But they turned out pretty well.
Oh man, it's freaking amazing. I saw that and was like, holy shit, that thing was looking way clean. That whole line, man, the God, wasn't that Wicket really good too? Crumbs, did you see that one? The Ewok? That was the stained glass one. Super sick. Without like, I don't want you to like give me your process or anything like that, but is there much difference between painting or from printing something like salt? Yes, dude. Is there a big difference between printing something like that versus something like that, like the X-Wing fighters we were just showing?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of difference. It's more of a stain. Let me grab one of them here. It's more of a stain than a paint to keep its translucency.
Gotcha.
But like the silver and the black, I do just use acrylic paint, so they pop more. But some of it I do have to go over multiple times to get the right color depth for the figure.
So you're printing those clear and then staining them?
Yes, I am.
Holy shit. Where did I miss that? That's crazy. Dude. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, now it's a whole different thing. Now it's like,
that's a lot.
Isn't it funny, dude? What a fucking moron I am, right? Like, how dumb. Who else thought this too? Like, how do you print in color translucent resin? Is the first thing that I thought. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's a thing. I don't know anything about 3D printing.
She actually does print in colored translucent resin, though. Like all those figures that I made that were the clear color figures, like the Snow Troopers and the Boba Fett's and stuff, those were actually printed. Like those Snow Troopers right there,
Yeah.
And like all those figures, those are actually printed in translucent resin.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which I think, did you just dye the resin? It was a clear resin that you dyed. Is that how you got it? Yeah.
Oh, wow. A dyed clear. I didn't think of that either. Jesus. Well, that's why you guys are pros at this stuff. And I know nothing. Wow. God, that's impressive, dude. The staining of the resin crumbs. Am I right? Like,
I'm with you, man. Definitely a game changer for sure. Definitely kind of throws me off, man. Everything you guys do is just tight. I think that's the part that's hard to wrap your head around. Like, it doesn't seem to matter what you're doing. It ends up being tight, if that makes sense. It's like I like this wave of 4 here, even like all the small little details just make them all pop. And it's like it's in all black figures, a couple silver deets.
You didn't have there was no title to this one, man. I was surprised.
Yeah, those come out really clean. I like the way those look. It's not like there's a lot to them, but the details come out really clean on those.
Dude, that was a great point too that you said earlier, and I don't know if we've ever, when we talk about casting in the color that it's supposed to be as opposed to painting, keeping that detail factor in there too, man. I don't know if that's something that we ever talk about a lot, but that's a great point. Not only saves time on the painting, but then you also keep some of that detail, whether it's one layer or 4 layers of paint, whatever you're doing. I mean, you're taking away from the detail a little bit, no matter how much you put on it. But man, dude, that's a process. Let me ask you this, dude. So you guys are, I mean, obviously with the addition of these catalogs and stuff, you're growing your brand, right? Like you're in partnership with these other people. Are you in a comfortable spot right now as far as, okay, this is working. This is going to be, we're going to print and we're going to buy prints from these guys and everybody's going to get their cut. Everything's going to be cool. Is there any desire for you to go, man, it would be really cool if we could just print the figures and maybe get the file from somebody and then maybe send that out and have somebody paint it? Or is there a stopping point to where, man, dude, how much meat on the bone is there that you can pass this around where it's still at a feasible cost for everybody to say, yeah, I'd pay 40 or 50 bucks for that, before you start getting too many hands involved and somebody says, and now you got to pay this guy, you got to pay yourselves, you got to pay the painter, you got to pay, let's say, someone that was doing your packaging or something like that.
Well, the thing is, like, we've talked about this before, and we're basically working out of our house because, like, it's probably been at least over 2 years that we've basically been maxed out on the amount of figures we can make a month. Like, we could sell probably double what we are, but we can't make anymore. Like, we literally work 7 days a week, 8 to 14 hours a day, probably. No shit. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, we're basically making figures, other than like family stuff in between. But we work 7 days a week, at least 8 to 14 hours a day. And so we really can't make any more figures than what we are right now. And they're all made to order, so they're already all sold by the time we make them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we went to the made to order, because we didn't want to waste time making stuff that hadn't sold, like that might take a while, because it's already, like, we got to the point where we were already maxed out. So it's like we had to be able to figure out a way to maximize our time. And so we've talked about like possibly being able to hire somebody, but we don't really know like how we would do that, because we work out of our house. So it's not like we want somebody just coming and hanging out at our house during the day. You know what I mean? Like,
you want to come hang out with us 7 days a week for between 8 and 14 hours a day?
Obviously, we spend a lot of time packaging stuff, printing, shipping labels, like the non-figure making side of selling figures. There's a lot of time involved in that, where if we could hire somebody to do that, then we would have more time to actually make more figures. You know what I mean? but it's like we really don't know how we would like implement that into our routine. Where, like I said, we're not going to just hire somebody to come sit in our living room with us while we're making figures and print out shipping labels. I mean, if it was like maybe like a relative or somebody we knew, but everybody we know has jobs, so it's not like they want to come sit in our
well, and that was going to be my next question, man. If you say you're maxed out, like at just taking that, like the figure making alone, and you're maxed out, how do you expand that? You know, is it as simple as, you know, I think the easiest thing to look at and go, oh, we'll just get another printer and run 6 printers instead of 5 printers.
Well, the printing process is like basically like we started a while back doing, like when we first started, we were doing like runs of figures and just sell what we had in the runs. And then we started, like, we changed up a little bit and started making, like, if we have figures that we can always make, like kit batch figures, we can only make so many of them because we don't have like an unlimited amount of parts. But the 3D printed figures, we can make unlimited amounts of those if we want. And so we started like basically making the figures available all the time. So it's like, if we can make these figures all the time, we're making them available all the time, where like people don't have to like hurry up and worry about getting like to a sale and it selling out. Like if somebody wants something that we can make, it's available basically. But 3D printing the figures isn't hard. Like this right here is a box of blank Boba Fett's in every color you can think of. And we have dozens of these boxes with every Star Wars figure in it, with every color of every Star Wars figure you can think of, basically. Every solid color and every clear color. So that way, when somebody buys something, all we have to do is paint it and it's ready. We don't have to worry about it. We can print tons of figures in the amount of time it takes to paint a few figures. So really the paint process is what like kind of takes the time. But we literally have shelves of blank figures in like every color you can think of, already ready to go.
Damn. That's crazy, dude.
That's wild. Yeah. Agreed.
Dude, as like a collector, you like look at that and you're like, dude, that's the Wonka factory right there, man. That's where the biscuits are getting made, man. That's very cool, dude. Golly, so what's next, dude? I mean, it's like Crumbs mentioned, dude. It's like everything that you guys do, whether it's the stained glass or carded figures or that. I mean, let's say this, dude. How is the Heroes of the Indie Toy Scene? How's that line going, dude? I know that you did the.
I've got one that's almost ready to go, and another one that I've got some parts for, and then another one that I've got an idea to make. But that is like kind of like a side hobby. Obviously, it's like we're just making those to give to people, whoever the person is.
Yeah.
So that's like spare time kind of fun stuff to do, you know what I mean? And we've been so busy lately, I haven't really had a lot of time to work on it. Like I've got one that's like pretty much finished, but I just got to like kind of put the finishing touches on it to have it ready.
Pope Toy says, what about selling blanks? Do you guys sell blanks at all?
You know what? We had talked about it before, but it's really not worth it for us for what people sell blanks for. The amount of time that we'd have to kind of put into it, we can't really get that value back out of it compared to if we paint them and sell them ourselves. And if we sell the blanks, then that's just more time we have to take to print the figures that we actually want to paint and sell. So we kind of decided against doing that. And Funky McClunky, like all the vintage Star Wars figures that we do are from his print files, and he doesn't charge us a fee for using those vintage Star Wars figures. Like once you buy the file for like a few bucks, you can print and sell as many as you want of them. But he sells those blanks, so we kind of didn't want to start selling those same blank figures from his files when he's doing that, because that's going to take away from him being able to make money from his files. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though he allows people to do that, we didn't need to do that in order to make our business successful. So we didn't want to really take away from what he was already doing. And it really didn't benefit us for the time that it took to make the blanks compared to what we could sell them for. We're better off, like, it makes us more money to be able to paint the figures and then sell them, basically.
Yeah.
Because like whenever you want if somebody wants a blank, it's not like they just pop off the printer ready to go. There's a lot of prep work after you print it, like a lot of sanding and cleaning and making sure everything fits right. It's not like you can just print it and it pops off the printer ready to go. So it's like, once you put all that work into it, it's not really worth it to sell a print or a blank figure for $10. Once you spent you spend hours printing the figure and then all the time sanding the parts down and prepping it, send out, because people don't want like a raw figure when they get a blank. They want it basically ready to paint. So once you put all that work into it, like blanks don't really sell for that much compared to the work it takes to put into it. So we kind of just decided not to do that.
That makes sense, man. That's another thing that I didn't know, that even if you print out a blank from a 3D printer, there's still going to be some work on the back end to get it ready to go. How are you guys dealing with the tariffs, man? Was that an issue for you guys at all, or how are you going about that?
It honestly hasn't affected us at all yet. Like nothing that we use has went up in price. But kind of like I was stating before, the material cost for 3D resin is relatively low. Like making like to print a figure, like once you buy all the 3D printers and stuff like that, like the actual material cost for the resin is really cheap, honestly. Honestly, it's like less than $1 a figure, like once it's printed. But that's just the material cost. That's like not counting all the machinery and everything else.
For sure.
Like I said, basically the cost in the figures is the amount of time it takes to paint them. That's what we kind of charge for. But even if the price of resin doubled, it's going to go from like 50 cents to $1 a figure. So it really wouldn't affect our bottom line too much. Sure. But it hasn't raised yet. So we kind of been watching it, waiting for it to go up, because all that stuff comes from China. So we're assuming that eventually it's going to go up. But even if the price of the resin, like I said, doubled, it's still really cheap compared to the amount of figures we can make out of a bottle of resin.
That makes sense, man.
How are you color matching some of these? Like that kind of blows my mind. The fact they're able to get like a perfect skin tone or like those perfect oranges. It's like, how do you just order these and get like the right color matching on them?
Nicole is a wizard when it comes to dyeing resin.
Yeah, if it's not white, black, or gray, I've mixed every color by hand. It's kind of a process sometimes. Sometimes it takes way too long to get it to match correctly, but I do my best.
Wow. God dang.
Wasn't expecting that for like.
We just make it. I don't know. We just make it. Couldn't find it in the store. We just made it. That's cheaper. Wow. That's dude, that's crazy, dude. Like you look at a figure, right, and you say, yeah, it's 3D printed, and some people may scoff at that and go, but then when you start talking about it and you go, God damn, that's a lot of work, dude, to get like from saying it's a 3D printed figure to that final product that you got, especially on like the stained glass, or even the painting where you're doing layer after layer after layer and the color matching. Oh my God, look at that Greedo with the Metaluna Mutant. That, dude. Beautiful.
You know how you were talking about like people scoffing at 3D printing? Like I was the same way back when I first started making figures, and even whenever I met Nicole and we started making figures together, like I was completely against 3D printing because one figure basically turned me completely away from it. This was back in like 2020. And I'd been making figures basically just for fun. I wasn't really selling them, but I bought a 3D printed figure from a guy. It was a gray blank Mandalorian, and I got it, and I was like super excited, and it was really shitty made. I didn't know that at the time because I'd never dealt with 3D printed stuff, but out of the 4 limb joints, 3 of them broke. So I had to like replace them with like Lego pegs. And the blaster broke in half when I was trying to put it in his hand. And I'm like, this is garbage. I was really pissed off. And I contacted the guy and like he basically refused to do anything to like replace the pieces or anything. And I was like, fuck 3D printing. I'm never doing this shit again. Blah, blah, blah. So for the longest time, I would only kit bash figures. And I was like, I refused to like to even think about making 3D printed figures. But then Nicole, I bought her a 3D printer for her birthday, and it was basically to make accessories for My Little Ponies, is what she wanted it for.
Oh,
and she ended up making some Darth Vaders with Funky McClunky's Darth Vader print file, and the joints, like the articulation joints on his figures, were way beefed up compared to this one that I got before that like completely turned me away from 3D printing because I got that one figure and it's all it took for me to like completely hate it. You know what I mean? And sometimes shit's like that. Like I hate to think that like one bad experience can completely turn somebody away, but I even went through it. And but 3D printing has came a long ways. Like each year, like new stuff gets invented that like makes it better. And like if you get guys like Vivid Motions and like Funky McClunky, their stuff, their print files are specifically made to hold up to like somebody moving the limbs without breaking the articulation. Like they make their joints really thick, and they're basically made like I said, they're almost like a Glio's peg system where it kind of like pops in to the joint. So it's like once it's in there, it kind of holds in place. And but yeah, like I said, for the longest time I was completely against 3D printing until I got that printer for her and she found Funky McClunky stuff, and we realized, well, hey, there's actually ways that you can make good quality 3D print figures.
Yeah, dude, I think that was my probably earliest. Yeah, that was my first experience with 3D printing too. Was the first couple ones that I got were just shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's cool, but what's up with all these lines? You know what I mean? I'm like, can you sand that out? And then you start doing a little bit of research. And I'm like, okay, there's different grades of this, and you know, so on and so on. But it's now you look at it, and I think that at least my outlook on it is completely different than you know, from what I first thought. I mean, you take one of those figures, that one of my first 3D printed figures that I got, versus like a stained glass piece, and you're just like, oh, dude, that's different planets right there. That's not even that's not even close. So interesting how it's done that. And then so tell me a little bit about Funky McClunky, man. God, we should have that dude on the show. Are those all original sculpts from him?
What's that? The ones that we're doing?
Yeah, the ones that he sells.
Oh, the ones that he sells. He does some vintage figures too. Like he did the whole vintage Star Wars line. Like that's where we get our files from for the vintage Star Wars figures that we do, is from Funky McClunky. But he's got hundreds of original sculpts that he's done too.
Oh wow!
So like he's done the whole Captain EO line. Like that's what I'm basically working through right now, is the Captain EO line. But he's done like Blade Runner. I can't remember. Like there's, like I said, hundreds of original sculpt figures he has, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the EOS line must be doing well on like your eBay page and your Facebook page.
Yeah, we just started on the eBay page not long ago, and it kind of took off pretty well. But I was thinking about something. I've been watching a bunch of like stuff about all this stuff going on with the tariffs and people not being able to ship to the U.S. And I know that it's kind of like drug a lot of people down who are like outside of the U.S. that relied on U.S. customers to buy their stuff. But one thing I kind of wanted to say that like I learned is I noticed that a lot of people only rely on Instagram for their stuff and they don't really branch out a whole lot. But like Facebook has tons of like specialized pages for certain things like custom Motu pages and custom Star Wars pages and custom G.I. Joe. And like there's basically a specific page for everything you can think of. Custom figures, and there's multiples of them where if those people would kind of move away from Instagram, I think, and not only rely on Instagram and get on some of these specialty pages on Facebook, that it would open them up to a lot of new customers that might be not in the US because there's a million other countries they can sell to. It just, unfortunately, the way shit's going right now, I know it sucks, but you have to be able to like change with the circumstances, change with the climate. And we've had to change our business motto twice in the last 3 years just because of the economy and different things happening where we've basically completely changed up the way we did business because you have to be able to change with the way things are happening. You can't just stick to the same old routine and expect things to change. It's like that thing that they say, it's like the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And I really think that if a lot of people would kind of, I know that a lot of people don't like Facebook, but there is a ton of potential for sales on there. I think I told B this before, that pretty much we probably sell between 20 to 30 figures on Facebook for every one we sell on Instagram. Like that's how much larger of a like market there is there. And like when we opened up to like eBay, like there's people that only buy on eBay that don't even get on Instagram and Facebook because like we don't want to sell on eBay because eBay takes like 20% in fees. So we put like eBay even has like a thing where if you try to message somebody to sell outside of eBay, it blocks your message. So we put like a little printed out note for people to like that we put in each one of our figures we sell on eBay. Tell them to find us on Instagram and Facebook so we can sell our figures cheaper on there to them. But we have people that are regular customers on eBay that have been buying tons of figures off of us, and they know that they can buy them cheaper on Facebook or Instagram, but they don't use social media. They only buy off of eBay. So that's just like a whole nother group of people outside of Facebook or Instagram that are buyers. So it's like the more you open up to different like possibilities, obviously you're going to sell more stuff because there's some people that only use certain things. No matter how much you try to like force them to go one way or the other, it's like, I think that opening up your range to more avenues really makes a huge difference.
Spot on, man. And admittedly, so many other countries, like you nailed it before, like they might not actually be, Instagram might not be super popular there, but Facebook might still be popular. And things like eBay still might be popular. I know for some people, they've said Reddit works really well for them. So like there's a lot of different avenues. There's communities as well that realistically you can always kind of plant yourself in. And that statistic that you gave as well, I hope will kind of push some people to kind of maybe think twice.
Yeah, I'll put this out there. If there's anybody that's thinking about starting to sell on Facebook and is like wanting to, because they only sell on Instagram, if they contact me, I'll give them a list of every Facebook page you can sell custom figures on so that they already know they don't even have to go find them. I'll tell them, you know what I mean? I'll make a list and that way I'll just send it to whoever like messages me and asks for it. Because there's literally multiple Facebook pages for every kind of toy there is, whether it's like Universal Monsters, 5.5 Motu style figures, 5-point articulation 3.75 figures, Star Wars, G.I. Joe. There's literally multiple pages for like when I first started selling on Facebook. Like we had sold on Facebook for a long time before we even got on Instagram, and I already had like a little bit of a base build up because I was already buying and selling vintage Star Wars figures on a Star Wars page, and I was like buying collections and then like keeping the figures I needed or upgrading to better condition figures to keep for my collection, and I'd sell off the rest of them. So I already had kind of a reputation for selling figures on there before I even started making customs. And this Facebook page has like 40,000 members who only buy Star Wars stuff. So just that page alone, you gotta think you're opening up 40,000 customers that specifically buy that type of figure. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's a huge customer base. And just that one group. And there's dozens of other groups too.
Who manages all those sites for you guys? Are you guys both doing that? Or, I mean, that's a lot of posting.
Well, we have our own page that we mostly sell most of our stuff on our own page. But like if you're starting out on Facebook, you're better off to start in like a specialized group and sell your stuff there so you can kind of build up a reputation for your sales. And you can have your own page and kind of like when you have a sale, be like, you can also find our stuff on and then give the name of your page. There's a link to your page. But like going into those specialized groups is where you're really going to find the customers who want to buy your stuff. And like, it's not about finding a ton of customers. Like if you find a few really good customers, it can make a world of difference in your sales. Like we have a core group of people who have been buying off of us for years that buy all the time, every week, every month. And those people are really the ones that keep us going as far as like a business wise. Like I had a guy message me yesterday and he's been buying off of us for a few years. And like, I don't even think of him as like one of our huge customers that like buys all the time. And he told me he had 98 figures of ours. And I didn't even realize that because it's just like slowly over time, he's bought that many. Like I said, he's not even one of our big customers really. Like I have one guy on Instagram that buys almost, well, he's kind of slowed down a little bit, but for a couple of years, he was buying every figure that I put up. And he must have had like a notification for whenever I posted because he would claim it within 2 seconds of me posting. And he still buys a ton of stuff. I guarantee you, I've never seen this guy's collection, but I bet you he has at least 300 or 400 of our figures.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. But it's like if you get into these niche groups, if you just find a few people who love your stuff, you know what I mean? That makes a huge difference. And there's still going to be the people who buy a figure here and there, and like you get a bunch of those and that adds up, but it's really finding your core group of people that really love your stuff that kind of makes the difference of like being able to really expand on a business wise, I think.
Yeah. Great tips there, man. I mean, it's hard, right? Because we don't have a Facebook page. And so I'm really not, and I've never had a Facebook page, so I'm really not familiar with the whole thing, dude. But it's good to know that there is a lot of other customers out there. You're right, dude. We did talk about that. And you said how much more business you were getting on Facebook. And for some reason, I was surprised by that. And that's just me not having a Facebook and being not knowledgeable about Facebook, I guess. But interesting, man. We're coming up to the fourth quarter of the year. How is PVC planning on finishing? Grayskull, you are 100% right, bro, for multiple reasons, but that would be one of them. How are you going to finish off the year, man? It's coming up. We got about 4 months left.
We have a exclusive for Decon that we're doing for Dove that is a really cool figure. And Dove had this genius idea for the card back. I don't want to give it away because I want to wait until he like puts it out, but it'll be out in like next beginning, like probably towards the middle of next month. Like he'll start promoting it, but it's
nice.
a really cool figure, and he had this genius idea for the card back. But I don't want to really say too much because I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. Like he never said not to say anything about it, but I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. So
don't even worry about it. We'll see eventually. He's gonna do his stuff online, and then he's actually gonna be on the show. I believe it's November 4th. Is what we were talking about, but he's going to do it's going to be cool, man. We're going to do a little decon preview with him. So that'll be fun. I'm sure he'll have it then, but
we also have a figure that we're getting ready for. The W is for Wolfman for Lab Monkey show.
Yes.
So those are a couple of things that we've got in the works right now. That's kind of outside of our normal stuff. But I think as far as like finishing off the year, right now, I'm kind of working through that Captain EO line. And then I've got other figures. Because I know that that's not for everybody. So I'm trying to like sprinkle in other stuff too in between each one of those figures to kind of keep everybody, have something going out for everybody. And I know Nicole's been like crazy busy with the stained glass figures. It's insane the amount of orders she's getting for those.
That's awesome though, man, because I mean those things are so damn clean, dude. I don't blame anybody for wanting one of those. Everyone that comes up, you're just like, holy shit. That's another one. I'm telling you, man, that Gamorrean guard, dude, that is one of the dopest figures that I've seen in a while, just for like a loose 3.75. I mean, that is dude, it's immaculate. It's Nicole, that is such a superior job on that.
Thank you.
Super cool. The fact that you stain that is still kind of blowing my mind. Like, I remember a long time ago, like, I don't know if I even knew Crumbs yet. I was watching one of his videos and he was dyeing a piece of vinyl and it was just like repeatedly just going over. I'm like, what is this maniac doing? And it looked dope when it was done. And that was the first time I had ever been really introduced to people dyeing stuff as opposed to painting it.
Yeah, she's actually putting the dye on there. It's not like she's just like, she's hand brushing it on there, so it's like even more of the process. It's pretty amazing, honestly.
It's totally next level. I wouldn't even know, and that now makes sense how you get like those perfect cuts on it. Like, holy fuck, dude! You guys are insane.
I'm hand brushing all of those paint apps on as well,
dude. I mean, God, I can't even say anything about that. That is amazing. Holy shit. So you brush it on, you just brush it on layer after layer until it gets to the shade that you want.
Yeah, when the paint apps are that small, I do have to mask off each area so the stain doesn't bleed into the clear. God. Yeah, so that is quite a bit of work, and that's why his price is a bit higher than the other figures.
Oh yeah.
It's much work to do all that.
Absolutely.
Rightfully so.
God, that was beautiful. Holy shit. But yeah, I mean, masking off, God, that just sounds like when I hear, I had to mask that off, I'm like, well, that probably took some time, you know, especially when little small stuff. God. A stained glass toxic Avenger. Ooh, golly, that would be sick. All right, let's do this giveaway. You got that giveaway there? That thing is
it's in parts right now. I don't have it put together, so but it'll look like the picture whenever it gets sent out. But I had to take it apart to make some adjustments on it, and I actually put a back on the card this time. So we almost never put backs on the cards, and I decided to put one on there this time. But it's nothing really crazy, but just something.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. The carded figures for you guys, there's I don't want to say there's not a lot of them because I don't know how many there are. I can think of a couple off the top of my head, like the short circuit one. That was super, super cool.
Yeah, that was for a show. That was the only reason I did that. Like doing card art, we like doing it, but it's like I said, it all comes down to time and like what we can charge extra for like a carded figure, the amount of time it takes to do it. It's just not worth it for us. We're better off to put our time in to just making the figures. And like I said, I mean, it's just like we're so time constrained on making stuff. We have to like make sure that we put every ounce of energy into where it's best used, basically. And we do like the carded figures, and like there for a while we kind of dipped our toes into doing it, but for the amount of extra work it takes to make the cards and the cost involved compared to like what we can charge extra for doing that, it's not really worth it compared to if we just make figures. Like if we put that time into making the figures, it's a lot more productive for us, basically.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense, man.
General efficiency.
Yeah, for sure. That's, gosh, I hope that's something that people are thinking about when it comes to making figures and stuff, is where their time is most spent best, I guess. Then again, I don't think there's very many people out there that are doing the volume of pieces that you guys are doing. So you really have to fine tune that to keep it moving. Crumbs, how many did we get on the wheel tonight?
We got 7. I don't know if it's because of the day change or what, but it was slept on this week, man.
How many?
7. So
7?
It's gonna be a tight grab.
Oh
but
my goodness.
Somebody's gonna be very lucky.
It's good odds.
Right.
Those are pretty good odds. Yeah, those are pretty good odds. I'm thinking, so whoever, it has to be someone who answered and someone who's in the and someone who's in the room. So we'll see what we got. There it is. Look at that thing. Captain EO's cereal. That's sick, dude. Who did the artwork there?
That was just a T-shirt design I found. Like, dude,
oh, nice. Hell yeah.
I just stole it and printed it on a card.
Good. Perfect. That's awesome, man. That's like is that the DKE blister there? Yeah, nice. Those are sweet, man. That's a clean setup, especially if you're gonna take the figure out. I love that setup. I have a few of those. 7 people on the wheel. Pickman says he missed it. Throw him on the wheel. Now we tried to keep it centered around plastic vomit. And you know what, dude? This is probably why there wasn't a lot of response to it. Because the question, I tried to involve plastic vomit, and you look at their catalog and you're just like, shit, I don't know, name something. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want them to do? I want them to do everything, all the things. And that's understandable. But somebody
mentioned in the answers the last Starfighter. And but we don't ever plan on doing that. But the reason being, I would love to do something like that. But Toy Weaver, I don't know if you guys follow him.
Yes.
He's an amazing artist. But he's already done like the whole line of last Starfighter figures. So yeah, that's another thing when we're trying to like choose what we're going to make. We try not to make stuff that other people have already made for the most part. I mean, like, obviously there's a finite pool of things to choose from when it comes to like 70s, 80s, and 90s nostalgia, pop, whatever. Sure. I mean, obviously you're going to get stuff that kind of like crosses over with stuff other people are making, but like he's already perfected those figures. Like, but I just wanted to throw that out because I remember seeing somebody say the last Starfighter, but because I actually got some of those figures. They're some of my favorite figures I have.
Sweet. Yeah, so if you're looking for last Starfighter, hit up Toy Weaver.
Well, they're actually sold out and discontinued. But,
but so if you can find them,
you have to buy them on the secondary market, and they're fucking expensive as hell.
Oh, wow. All right. So good luck on finding those. Toy Weaver, shout out Oklahoma.
Yeah, he actually lived like right by Nicole when she lived in Oklahoma.
Gotcha. All right. The wedges on the wheel. Yeah, that's right, Mike. 8 wedges on the wheel. Which slice of pizza is going to get that? Good luck to folks on the wheel tonight. This is for the Captain EO's carded 3.75 figure from, of course, that was someone that was just added, wasn't it?
That was Pickman.
Attaboy. Sweet, dude. That's a cool ass figure. That'll be coming directly from Plastic Vomit. And
Yeah, and that's actually a one of a kind figure because
oh,
that was basically the prototype, and I changed
Oh damn!
after I made that one for the ones that I started selling. So that's different than the ones that we actually sell. So, and the card's one of a kind. So it's an all around one of a kind figure.
yeah, that's dope, man. I should have asked you about that before I posted about it. I definitely would have put that in there. That was super generous of you guys to donate that. So thank you very much for that. Congrats to Pikmin for winning that.
And really, all that added in there, I feel like that Pikmin's almost like the great place for it to be. You know what I mean? I know how much they love their package art and stuff, and like the fact it's a proto, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I
And
love
first time win on Toys Alive.
Yeah, I love it when it goes to somebody first time he's won. That very nice, dude. Yeah, cool, man. Good to see that it's staying in the house, so to speak.
I'm very curious. Do you guys keep any of the figures that you make typically?
We have a few figures that we've kept, but basically they were like more sentimental figures that we only had one of. But as far as like the ones that we make and sell, we don't have time to make them for ourselves. Like we always say, like someday when we retire, we're going to make one of each figure for ourselves to keep. But by then, there's going to be 1,000 of them to make, because even like right now, just the ones we have that are available, we got like between 300 and 400 figures that are available at any time. So on top of that, there's probably another 300 or 400 figures that we can make that aren't available all the time. So by the time we retire, we'll have probably till the end of our life to make the figures and probably still not get all of them done.
That's pretty wild. I don't know about you, but that's pretty wild.
That's a lot of figures, dude.
That's a lot of figures.
Thank you guys for being on, man. Again, thank you for the that's always awesome. You guys have been super generous to the show from day one, man. I super appreciate that. Good luck to you guys in the next few months. I'm sure we'll be talking as we always do, but dude, what a great recipe, right? If you're trying to start your own thing, not that you can ever duplicate that, because I don't think what you guys got going on can be duplicated in any way, shape, or form. But there's some good lessons in there as far as marketing and as far as kind of rolling with the punches, man, and being able to adapt and change. Dude, I think a lot of life is being able to adapt and change if you want to try to, keep succeeding and keep growing. And you guys are doing that, man. It's super cool to see. Crumbs?
I think you nailed it, though. Some of the most kind, talented. Dude, tonight was a wild one because we've had them on before and we still learned new things tonight that we had never fucking learned before. And I'm awkward. I don't like looking at people directly head on, but like when you look at a piece like this guy here, and we showed it earlier, and you consider then like what goes in, and they actually nailed it, man. And I know Zinnico has talked about it before as well, their process for cleaning up the prints. But this is definitely one of those cases where if you're somebody who is hesitant on 3D prints, this is nothing like the 3D prints you've seen in the past. This isn't layer lined and janky joints. Like these are fucking, they're pieces. You know what I mean, man? And then like when they were talking about the paint rub, even you kind of said it. Like we haven't really had anybody actually talk specifically about that aspect of it. Just absolutely fucking brilliant. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. It's so insightful, man. So intelligent, so insightful, well-spoken, optimistic, freaking.
They are, not only are they really great toy people and just people in general, dude, they're really good business people. You know what I mean? They definitely have. And what's cool about that, man, is, they didn't come in here and say, hey, I know how to run a business or blah, blah, blah. It was obviously trial and error and adjusting. And now it's still fine tuning, dude, but it's still like a business, right? It's like a living, breathing thing. And so it's always changing. And How do you change? Well, adjusting with whatever's going on currently as far as taxes and shipping and stuff like that. That's certainly a way to do it. But, I think they're really nailing the marketing end of it too, with having so many different outlets to be on or to sell their figures, dude. I mean, they sell an ungodly amount of figures and well-deserved.
Well, and I've seen them say in the chat before, this all started like painting some figures with their kids during the old COVID times. You know what I mean? And then for that to escalate to, and we know like they're both obviously meticulous with those paint apps, man. There's so much that goes into those pieces. Not even just cleaning them up, but the paint apps that are going into them, the freaking dyeing, the dyeing them, paintbrush dyeing them. What the fuck?
And what's crazy? Like I'm thinking about, when you put dye on like a paintbrush, and it's almost like similar to
like watercolor.
I was gonna say watercolor, dude. Like you put it on there, and like the color's there, but think of how many layers you would have to like put on there, let dry, put another layer on, and then until you get it to, kind of the shade that you're looking for. And it's crazy, man. It's definitely like an assembly line of figures. But I think they had a lot of answers for people. Number one is, selling action figures full time. Is that like a feasible thing? Yes. Should I be doing more than what I'm doing on Instagram? Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like if you want to sell more figures, yes.
8 to 13 hours, 7 days a week. Be prepared for that as well.
Right. And that's the other thing, dude. That's why they're a unique beast in the sense that the volume of stuff that they're doing really dictates the way that their business runs. And I don't think that there's a lot of people that, I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, that are in that position that have that much clientele and that much demand for their stuff, to where they have to think about that stuff. The cool thing about them is they do have that, and they're managing it very, very well.
Even consider they're currently doing, because they mentioned it, right? Jason said it. They're sprinkling in right now the EOS project, which is almost like a personal thing, while still making sure to hit all the marks for the other fans. We've got fucking Ultraman figures. We've got Star Wars figures. We've got Star Wars in stained glass. We've got Star Wars in regular opaques. You know what I mean? We've got a run of figures. It's like, yeah, dude, like they're making sure to still hit. We've got a Mr. T. Like they're hitting all their marks while still sprinkling in the pieces they want to be doing for their Captain EOS line. It's like,
dude, and there's so many good little matchups in there with just slight changes where you're like, yeah, I like that Tusken Raider up there, dude. That you scroll past. There was that Tusken Raider. It looks a little bit different than like a normal Tusken Raider. And if I'm collecting that stuff, it's like, hell yeah, I want that. It's just above the Mr. T, I believe. Maybe up a little bit more. One more. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Tusken Sniper version 2.
You imagine how many times I had to paint this orange? How many fucking times doing that orange, trying to get it just perfectly clean?
Yeah, just small little variations like that, man, I think is, God.
The different, like, okay, hearing tonight part of their process was a total mind fuck, man.
What's that now?
Hearing about their process was a mind fuck tonight.
Yeah.
That was a total, like, I don't know if somehow we just missed that, like the idiots we are the first time they were on, but hearing that just really blows my mind.
Yeah, and that's something I was going to say earlier too, dude. Is even though you did have like we did have them on the show a long time ago, and we talked about everything, right? Like at that time they weren't hooked up with Funky McClunky and Vivid Motions. They weren't doing the stained glass. I'm sure they have more clientele now.
They were doing the stained glass, but it wasn't stained glass. It was, what were they calling it back then? Because it was the clears that they were spraying with the ultra gloss. It was fucking, they had a different name. Was it the ice?
Ice. Yeah, I think it was ice. Yeah. But yeah, dude, and that's, I mean, look how much we talked about just new stuff, and we even uncovered some stuff. Like, dude, we should do like a marketing episode, you know, just as far as people's different experiences on different platforms. I think they would be a great one to have on there. But the also thing that's also very cool is, and I didn't realize this, dude, and I think it's probably, I guess it's one of those things where you don't know unless you ask or unless he tells you. But that whole page is the catalog. You know what I mean? If you see something on there that you want, you hit him up, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll make it. It's in our catalog. That's what we're doing now." So,
Right.
which is very cool because it's like it takes that whole, oh man, I missed that. I got 3 of these available. They're gone now. Shit, I missed that. Well, just ask them for another one, and they'll make it.
And right at the top of their page, like answers to FAQs. We don't sell blanks, parts, or do commissions. Prices are cheaper on FB and IG than on eBay, so message us here for the best deals.
Yeah, Ultraman was tough. I agree. That Ultraman was so sick. Stormico, what up, man? So yeah, Plastic Vomit, dude, killing it in every sense, which is cool, dude. Those guys. I was gonna ask them. I always ask them about their old name, dude. Nerf Herders Customs, dude. Yeah, when they first came on the scene, they were Nerf Herders.
I always forget about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but there was a couple other Nerf herders in the scene, or just on Instagram, I guess. And so they went with the change. But yeah, it's just so good in so many ways. Let's switch on over to the Tabby Doo market, man. What's cracking over there, dog?
Yeah. You can pop those open. You can pull up some Tabby Doos. You don't have any mail over there today to share?
You know, I do. I'm going to show 2 things. And they're not brand new things. They're new to me. One of them I'll show right now. And I think that people have seen this piece online before, but I recently acquired it. This was Healy Made's Nugget piece into Nuggets 2. That show was a couple years back, but yeah, that's the Nug, dog.
That is fucking hilarious.
Just in the comments, if you know where those legs came from, say it. I do, and I kind of want to wait till someone guesses it. But yeah, cool, man. That's from Healy Made. Healy Made submission into the Nuggets 2 show, which is put on by Dan Brown. Bam. So there's that one. It's got like these translucent green legs. They look solid from here, but they're definitely translucent, which is cool. It's large too, man. It's probably 6. God damn it, Folklore!
What a sly fox, eh?
Bro, the guy is. I'll tell you what. I don't know if anybody else would have got that. Yes. Gray Skull, yes. Good job, fellas. That's a good one. Yeah, there's another piece. I'm gonna grab another piece real quick. Just because this is relevant to what we were just talking about. Now, I've shown this one before. This is a rare one, man. This is Healy Made and Skinner, the mother piece. This thing is like massive. I've showed this one before, I think on our last Grail show, but there's only a handful of these out there, and I don't think they were ever like available for retail. I think the guys who made them each got one, or maybe a couple, even the guys who made the blisters, because there's a lot of work in that blister there. You can see how it kind of like steps down. Anyways, the legs on there are strawberry shortcake legs. And I remember when he told me that, I was like, wow, dude. I remember my sister having those as we were kids. But anyways, yeah, so that's a dope one. He definitely dabbled in the strawberry shortcake figures there for a little while, which is funny because my sister was a big supporter of strawberry shortcake when we were kids. So, bam, there it is. Mother from Healy Made and Skinner. That's what that was. But yeah, right on for the legs. Good guess on that one. Here's the last one that I'm going to show. And this is another. I'll text you in a minute. This is another one from Healy, and this is a good one, dude, because I have heard that like pieces from this dude are getting rarer and rarer and harder to find. But this is a Quackula one-off painted by Gargamel, is what that is, and that is a flippin' beauty right there. It is a 101. It's signed there on the bottom. You can hardly see it, but it's there.
Real sharp.
Yeah, dude, real clean. I have a couple of these, just regular runs that he did. I don't know. There's a couple painted ones. There's some marble ones, but this one's fresh, dude. I love this one. This look. Again, that's a Quackula by Healy Made, painted by Gargamel. Bam.
Yeah, that's so freaking gorgeous.
That's a good one.
The paint on that up is tight as hell, man.
It is. It's one of those real snazzy ones, dude, where you're like, ooh, that looks sharp, dude. And it is fucking crisp. I mean, every line on there is just, it's so crisp, man. So good. So good. It's Japanese vinyl right there from Healy Made.
Japanese vinyl right there.
That's what that is, buddy.
You're hilarious, dude. All right, let's go to the old tabby dudes here. We got a couple accounts under 1,000. This one here we've shown before, I Create. So they've actually just popped a couple of these guys up. Which, fun sculpt, man.
Yeah, dude, what is that?
Yeah, this is going to be the Soul Eater figure.
Soul Eater. That's cool. Yeah. That's good, man.
That's a neat fucking sculpt on that guy.
What is there a marble in that? What is that?
It looks like there's a marble casted in there. Yeah, it would seem as though.
Okay. That's cool.
And then an indentation on this side. Or are they both convexed? Now I'm curious. I think one side's concave, one side's... Who knows? Now I don't know. Oh, well. Twemel toys. We actually showed this off not too long ago because they're the ones that were saying they're making a vinyl-like resin toy. But they actually ended up popping out a bunch of these dudes. Ooh, so first complete production run for this guy. Just going to make some packaging for them. They'll be ready to ship to anyone who's interested. Send them a DM if you'd like to be one of the first lucky customers of Twemel toys.
Dylan Clement, what up, dude? Twemel toys. Those are cool, man.
That's a sharp fucking piece, man.
Yeah.
And faux fubi on these ones too. So I'm assuming that they're going to be basically like a roto-casted resin.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Faux fubi, huh? I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, again, it was this guy here, I think, was like the first that we ended up seeing. And of course, Pope Toys. If we're looking at accounts under 1,000. You see this little fucking guy today?
Dude, I saw that. Then I saw it says, "Where's the Beastman love?" And I was going, here is the Beastman love. And then I thought of guys like Jazz who would probably comment on that. I'm like,
oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that. Not all of our minds go there, but you're right.
Oh man, that's a cool little mashup right there, man.
Dude,
sick. Yeah.
This kit bash is just really fun. That freaking like dremeled out face attached onto the Wookiee. It's there's something about it, dude. And then this paint app's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Which is another really interesting thing that Plastic Vomit said is like, where the price of those figures really comes in is the time spent painting. Flat out. Time spent painting, dude, is where the majority of cost and those figures come from.
Ordinary Toys has said that in the past as well, too. Like when you're sitting in your hand drawing all these freaking individual headers and backers, there's no way you're ever going to be able to account. And tons of the artists have actually said that there's no way you can actually really work that in. It becomes almost impossible. And so they've figured out a way where they're like, well, yeah, so we want to try and streamline it, right? They try and make sure that they're basically getting pieces. There's certain pieces they won't make because it's just too impractical how long it would take to paint.
And cost too, right? Like they've got it to the point now where the biggest money maker on there is the paint. Now, if you think about that and kind of reverse engineer that, that means that the thing that's costing them the most is their time. And then you can put whatever value on that you want. Absolutely, there's a cost for paint, and absolutely there's a cost for the resin, but you heard what he said, it's minimal. You know what I mean? And that's when you can really start getting to value your time. Like Nicole said, she goes, I got to tape off these things for Boba Fett and stain every little one of these pieces. That's why it's more. Fucking A, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Well, let's be real. Like, it's less forgiving. Like, you think about, like, even Pope said, took 8 hours, kept messing it up. It's like, and fortunately, not to say that this isn't difficult, but fortunately with resin, you can kind of scratch off some of that paint if you haven't sealed it in yet. Staining it with dye, not so much. Not as forgiving. It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Lots of different applications you can use for paint, but it's the time, dude. And we always, the scale. Gosh, dude. Some people have it, some people don't, man. I know Pope Toys. We talked to him, man, and he came from painting miniatures. And it seems like a lot of people that do that paint figures that are really good at it. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them have that background with them as far as painting really small, detailed things. How sick was that, dude?
This is a fun little drop coming up. Available Wednesday, October 1st, 6 p.m. PST. Candy corn edition. Get yourself a Michael Myers Putrid figure painted in candy corn colors. You can also grab a tombstone, candy assortment, space death button, sticker, all housed in this little casket here, which definitely reminds me of the ones that used to get the little Mr. Bones candies in.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But what a fun little place that, man, especially with the candy corn color. Those sculpts by Tom Hensley. I mean, that dude's sculpting is out of this world.
Halloween's right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's what's funny. When I saw that, I was like, oh shit, here we go with the Halloween post, right?
Right.
And those are on sale October 1st. So
October 1st.
Yeah.
Do you see all the drops Ocular's been working out?
Dude.
Oracle Mega Drop Part 2. Look at
Yeah.
this little fucking roster.
The plain marble head, or even the ones with swirls in it, do, but
Seals the deal.
Yeah, the marble round faceless head, dude.
This is fucking cool.
It's so cool, dude. And I don't want to say it makes sense because that in itself doesn't really make sense. But what I like about it, I guess I should say, is that you totally remove any type of facial features or head or anything like that and not worry about that. And you put that on there and you could say, well, that is the head. Or you could say, hey, that looks like that's his helmet and his face is inside the helmet. I'd buy that too. Either way, man, it looks great, dude. God, that one's super cool. That ocular paint on there. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Fucking neat, dude. Ocular just killing it, man. So this ended up catching my eye. This artist is actually going to be having a bunch of these figures available coming up at a convention. Grab this Power at MF Kig in Nabliode OW. So if anybody is in that area, I'm not going to try and say that again, but it's in Japan. I know we have a couple of viewers that are over in the Japan region. This guy here, Neanderthal Toys, doing a little wave of some Halloween color-themed finger puppets. And this is what's always crazy. It took almost a year of work and waiting to get to this point, but we can finally see Fubi toys ready for Halloween. It's like, could you imagine just having to patiently wait for your sculpts to come back in like the toy form for a year? But fucking cool sculpts, man.
Yeah, that is. I was just gonna say, man, those sculpts are super, super cool, dude. Neanderthal Toys. That is not an account that I'm familiar with, but check
Rest
that.
in peace, vinyl culture, Mexico. Damn. Oh, look at his little butt. Sorry.
Really good sculpts. Did it say what the scale of those are? The finger puppets, you said, right?
They're finger puppets, yeah. So probably gonna be like an inch and a half, 2 inches.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely a sharp piece. So Bootleg Toy Co. just threw a couple of one-offs into the shop today. 2 days ago, apparently. I just don't get on this shit fast enough. But then on top of that, I want to show it off because we were talking about it last week, and I don't think I pointed out the fact that they were the ones that actually collabed on it. Did you see these fucking packages that ended up dropping?
Yeah, dude.
So Bootleg ended up doing the sculpt on this, and I didn't catch that somehow when we showed off these last week when we were showing them off. But you get yourself a T-shirt, you get yourself a sticker pack, you get yourself the Crankster baseball cap, you can get yourself the custom Wu Krang figure with custom sewer lid stand and a cool display box. The paint apps on these are fucking gorgeous, man.
Yeah, dude, that is a clean looking figure right there. Holy smokes.
And like when we talk about cleaning up a 3D print, so it's like that ball cap looks seamless, dude. There's no fingerprint resin markings on there. Like, that's sharp. The whole packet's just fucking a beautiful fucking setup, dude. And Homie was actually pretty smart about this. He has the Crankster baseball cap or second shirt of your choice. So it's like, yeah, not all of us look as good in the cap as me and B. Of course, this is actually OG custom tees. That's actually fucking rad as shit, too. Damn. Bucky O'Hare.
That's dope,
That's
man.
fucking dope. Nice big fat thick lines.
Yeah. Super sharp and vibrant as always. Yeah, those are sick, man.
Oof.
Snake Mountain Psychopaths. OG custom tees.
Okay, now this artist, they've made a couple of these, but there's not a whole lot that are out there, man. And I've only seen a couple. Like, they've posted this one up for the Clutter Magazine show that was like the fast food show.
Yes.
And seeing it in hand, you're like, holy fuck, that thing's big. But I would love to just see more of these, man.
Oh, dude, there was
now so good.
Yeah, those have been out for a while, and you're right, dude. Seemed like there was a break in there for a while, right? But some of the original ones that he was selling, god dang it, dude, those things were just, they were super good, dude. And I regret 100% never snagging one. Yeah, there's that one. There's another one that's like a almost like a ghosty, like, oh my god, dude.
Like, you can't go wrong with these. Doesn't matter how you do them. They're just so fucking sick. Yeah, Under Our Knives. Honestly, I would say an underrated artist, man. From sculpt to paint app, somehow one that unfortunately somehow slides through a lot of people's fingers or eyes. I don't know how you want to put that.
Yeah.
But like, these are fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, god damn, dude. Really bridges that gap that we've talked about several times. Designer toy from Resin Toy.
See that Ronald McDonald? That was funny.
And of course, before we go tonight, the winner of tonight's giveaway, Pikmin's Vinyl, is also going to be throwing a show with throwaway toys. It's the That's Me, an online art show where artists make each other into art. So sign up, I believe, is actually going to be December 16th as a show, but what are they maxing it at? Was it 40? Yeah, we're looking at for a total of 40 artists. Once all the slots are filled, each artist will receive a short questionnaire to fill out. Then everyone will be assigned another artist as your subject. The show will take place on Instagram Tuesday, December 16th. So if that interests you, if this seems like an interesting idea to you, please, by all means, hit up either Throwaway Toys or Pikmin's Vinyls. Get on the list for the Hey That's Me show. And then LM9, I was hoping that if they would have a post for it on their page, but luckily they're big and cool enough that everybody else is posting about it already. W is for Wolfman. So our homie Dre's got this up on their page. I know a couple of the other homies were actually posting it up. Pikmin's saying for the Hey That's Me show, sign up link is in their stories, so hit that up. But yes, Dre and a bunch of the other homies were posting today, October 7th. If you've been following the Lab Monkey #9 shows for the last couple of years, they kind of had this theme. The C is for creatures, F is for Frankenstein, W is for Wolfman. One of these days we'll do a B is for B to the J, and everybody will just make a B to the J piece.
Boy, hey, remember that almost happened back in the day.
Oh gosh.
On a different note, actually, but Under Our Knives was at Collected Con in Chicago. Got like 4 pieces from him. Super cool guy, Breezy. Yeah, nice. That's cool, man. That's definitely an artist that I would love to have some pieces from, especially that feeder piece that we were just showing. Sign up link for that show is in Pikmin's stories. If you guys are interested in that, jump on in there. Toys Boys Art Show Spectacular. Toys Boys. That's kind of funny. Toys Boys. Next week, dude. We don't have much planned for next week. Maybe we'll snag another guest and see what's going on. We got a couple people in the wings, just kind of waiting around to see what's up.
And I feel like there was something October 1st we were supposed to. Oh, yeah. We can't talk about it, but there's something we're going to announce and show off on October 1st that Gray Skull's been working on with Yo-Yo.
Yes. Okay.
We got there. Little brains know there's something going on. And dude, honestly, fantastic guests here this evening. I get awkward and weird. They've been so fucking generous and kind. They've hooked me up with a piece for the black and white shelf. They knew that like the fucking oh my goodness, why is it gonna escape me right now? They knew this guy was like one of my favorite fucking bootlegs, and they ended up tossing it to you to get over to my way. The head man, there we go.
Yeah.
And yes, and then of course the Toys Alive figures they did for us. They constantly are just fucking outdoing themselves, and they do generous things all the time. You've even mentioned some of the shit you've seen them doing at shows. They're just beyond fucking generous and kind and just lovely folks, man.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's not forget that, dude. Thank you for mentioning that, dude. The work that they do when they do go to shows, the amount of free toys that they hand out to kids is insane. Like carded figures, they'll find cheap carded figures, commercial cheap carded figures somewhere, and they'll just hand them out to kids. I've seen them donate money, proceeds back to either the community that they're in or an event or charity of some sort that they're doing. So yeah, dude, and not only that, I think just the wealth of information, dude, you got to attach a $ to that too, because that's valuable information. And I think one of the things that's really kind of challenging for some artists, ourselves included as a show, is to get onto another platform and say, man, is this going to work? Is it really do I want to put time into this? Because now I have to post here and here and here. Do I really want to do that? And I think they're good proof that, no, you don't have to do it. But if you do it and it's something that you want to do, there's potential for a lot more customers out there.
And especially if you're somebody who is currently feeling pessimistic about the tariffs and stuff. It's like, well, have you gone down all avenues? Have you explored all other options? Because there may be a lot of people closer than you think that would be willing to buy your works, that tariffs are now out the window, not even an issue.
Yeah, and I think when you say have you explored other options, I think they're the perfect example of, yeah, they have. They have. And I think, Jason and Nicole are great people. I think if anybody wanted to reach out with any questions to them, they'd be more than happy to answer them. And just great people, dude. It's people like that are really going to keep things going and positive. All that aside, dude, they make a goddamn great product at a great price. I've never came across anybody who's been dissatisfied with a plastic vomit piece.
And don't you consider, if they have that many other people on all of their platforms, they're actually doing a lot of the legwork for you folks. They're technically teaching other people who might not know about indie resin toys and all that about this whole indie bootleg resin. Like, they're kind of doing some of the legwork for you. They're already kind of getting a whole audience interested in what you guys make.
You know what would be an interesting question to ask, dude? Maybe we'll ask this in the giveaway next week. Is how did you guys find, or how did you find bootleg resin toys on Instagram? Were you directed from another site? If so, was it Facebook, or how did? I mean, just kind of, I think we might have asked it back in the beginning, but it's always interesting to see how people are funneled into this community.
I'd imagine most people that comment will say through Toys Alive and their amazing videos and content.
Internationally known, right? Yeah, you saw the billboards out in Buenos Aires, and that was a big win for us. So, excellent. Thank you. Perfect. 7 days a week, 8 to 14 hours a day. You want a full-time toy making job? There it is. There it is.
And there's two of them. And
two of them. And don't be trying to come over and hang out at their house either. That was funny though, dude. That was funny because that's the first thing that I would think of, like, oh man, I need an employee. I don't need an employee here with me, like physically. But anyways.
Well, with that all said, let's let these yahoos get on with their night, man. Guys, always a pleasure. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Plastic Vomit Customs, thank you for coming and giving us so much. Peace.
Peace.